Vienna, 1844. One of Europe's most advanced medical cities. Yet inside its hospitals, something terrifying was happening. Women were dying. Not outside, not in poverty, but inside hospitals, at the hands of doctors. A young doctor had just arrived in the city. Ignaz Semmelweis. Freshly graduated, ambitious, and deeply passionate about childbirth and women's health, he stepped into Vienna's medical world believing he would save lives. Instead, he walked into a mystery. Before diving into what mystery he discovered, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel so we could always bring such interesting content to you. The hospital where he worked had 2 maternity clinics. In one, trained doctors and medical students. In the other, midwives, many without formal medical education. But here's where things got disturbing. Women treated by doctors were dying at 5 times the rate of those treated by midwives. Not slightly higher, not explainable by chance, 5 times higher. The fear became so real that pregnant women begged not to be admitted to the doctor's clinic. Some even chose to give birth on the streets, hoping to avoid what many believed was a death sentence. And strangely, those street births had lower death rates too. This didn't make sense. How could trained doctors be more dangerous than midwives? Semmelweis couldn't ignore it. He had to find the answer. What he discovered would challenge the entire medical world and cost him everything. Semmelweis was determined. There had to be a reason behind the deaths, so he began observing, comparing, experimenting. One of the first differences he noticed was the way women gave birth. Midwives delivered babies with women lying on their sides. Doctors, however, used the traditional position, on their backs. It seemed like a possible cause, so Semmelweis made a change. He instructed doctors to switch positions, and waited. But the results? No difference. Women were still dying. Then he noticed something else. Whenever a woman died in the doctor's clinic, a priest would walk through the ward, ringing a bell. The sound echoed through the halls. To Semmelweis, it felt unsettling. What if the fear alone was killing the patients? What if the sound of death was pushing women into shock? So he acted. He stopped the priest from ringing the bell and waited again. Still, no change. Semmelweis didn't stop. He questioned everything. Was it the air, the temperature, the hospital layout, even sunlight through the windows? He tested idea after idea, but every result led to the same conclusion. Nothing worked. Meanwhile, the deaths continued, and so did the pressure. His superiors grew frustrated. They hadn't hired him to solve mysteries. They wanted him to follow orders. His obsession was becoming a problem. Exhausted, confused, and mentally drained, Semmelweis stepped away. He left Vienna for a short break, hoping distance would clear his mind. But he had no idea that the answer he was searching for was about to find him instead. When Semmelweis returned to Vienna, he was met with shocking news. A close colleague of his had died, not from illness, but from something far more disturbing. The doctor, Jakob Kolechka, had been performing an autopsy. During the procedure, he accidentally cut his finger, a small injury, nothing unusual, so he ignored it and continued working on the dead body. Days later, everything changed. His wound became infected. He developed a high fever. His condition worsened rapidly, and within days, he was dead. Semmelweis was shaken, but more importantly, he was thinking. He carefully studied the symptoms, and something clicked. The symptoms of his colleague were almost identical to the women dying in the maternity ward. That's when it hit him. Doctors were performing autopsies on dead bodies, and then, without properly cleaning their hands, they were delivering babies. Before diving into what mystery he discovered, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel so we could always bring such interesting content to you. Something from the dead bodies was being transferred to living patients. Something invisible but deadly. Today, we know exactly what that something was: germs. But in the 1840s, no one even knew they existed. Still, Semmelweis didn't need a name for it. He just needed to prove one thing: that cleaning hands could stop the deaths. Semmelweis didn't wait for approval. He didn't wait for permission. He acted. If something from dead bodies was causing the deaths, then removing it should save lives. Simple idea, powerful test. So he introduced a new rule in the doctor's clinic. Before examining any patient, every medical student and doctor must wash their hands. Not just with water, but with a strong solution of chlorinated lime. At the time, Semmelweis didn't know about bacteria. He chose chlorinated lime for one reason: it removed the smell of decay from hands. If the smell was gone, maybe the danger was too. The new protocol began. Doctors washed their hands, patients were treated, and then everyone waited. The results were immediate and unbelievable. The mortality rate in the doctor's clinic, once as high as 18%, dropped to less than 2%. In a matter of months, countless lives were saved. Mothers who would have died now lived to hold their children. Semmelweis had done it. Without knowing the science, he proved the truth. Clean hands save lives. It should have changed everything. It should have made him a hero, but instead, it made him a target. Semmelweis expected celebration, a breakthrough, a revolution in medicine. Instead, he got silence and resistance. The doctors around him didn't embrace the discovery. They rejected it because accepting it meant something uncomfortable, that they themselves might have been responsible for countless deaths. At the time, medicine was still ruled by outdated ideas like the balance of bodily humors and vague theories of disease. So Semmelweis's conclusion that invisible particles from dead bodies were killing patients felt absurd to many physicians, not because it was wrong, but because it challenged everything they believed. Instead of listening, many doctors felt insulted. To them, Semmelweis wasn't a genius. He was accusing them of harming their own patients, and that was unacceptable. His ideas were dismissed, his methods were questioned, his authority was undermined. Even though the numbers spoke clearly, few wanted to accept them. Eventually, the backlash became personal. Semmelweis lost his position at the hospital. He was pushed out of the system he was trying to save. A man who reduced deaths was now treated like a problem. Frustrated and isolated, he left Vienna, but he didn't leave his discovery behind. He carried it with him, certain that the world would eventually understand. What happened next was not just the fight for an idea, it was the tragic unraveling of the man who discovered it. After leaving Vienna, Semmelweis tried to rebuild his life. He moved to Budapest, opened a private practice, continued treating mothers and babies, and for a while, his methods worked. In his new clinic, he enforced strict hand washing again, and once more, the results were clear. Maternal deaths dropped dramatically. But this time, he had less attention, less influence, and less patience from the medical world. Semmelweis couldn't understand it. He had proof, he had data, he had results. Yet the medical community still refused to accept it. That frustration slowly turned into anger. He began writing letters, not polite academic papers anymore, but emotional, aggressive messages. He accused doctors of negligence. He called their resistance deadly. He demanded accountability. Instead of convincing people, his tone pushed them further away. The more urgently he tried to warn the world, the more the world rejected him. Over time, his behavior changed. He became increasingly unstable, paranoid, and emotionally overwhelmed. Historians later suggest he may have suffered from severe mental distress, possibly linked to late-stage infection or neurological illness. But at the time, people simply saw a man losing control. In 1865, Semmelweis was invited to visit a newly built medical facility in Vienna. It seemed like a gesture of respect, a chance to reconnect. He accepted. But when he arrived, something felt wrong. He was not being welcomed. He was being contained. He tried to leave, but it was too late. He was restrained, beaten during the struggle, and forcibly placed in a straitjacket. During the incident, he sustained injuries that became infected. 2 weeks later, Ignaz Semmelweis died at the age of 47 from infection, the very thing he spent his life trying to prevent. Shortly after his death, the world finally began to change. With the rise of germ theory and scientists like Louis Pasteur, Semmelweis's ideas were finally understood. And today, his legacy lives in every hospital sink, every scrubbed hand, every saved life.
Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, press the bell icon button. Thank you!